stars are shining bright. Yeah, we should stay up so that we can look at them all night. Just keep holding me, don't let me go. Everything's so magical. All I need is you tonight. If I shut my eyes, keeping them closed, all the senses explodes. You and me under the sky. Let's stay up all night, give our hearts a new beginning. When we fell in love, every second, every minute, we were high on life. Didn't waste our time, didn't sleep as much as now. Let's stay up all night.
Down on the season after they had their 11-game winning streak on the road, snapped in Game 3 last night. Ready to go on a sun-splashed Thursday night here in Cincinnati, Ohio. Xavier Edwards will crawl in from the right side. We are underway, and the count is 1 ball and no strikes.
Well, let's see if the Reds are aware of that push bunt that Edwards did yesterday. You have the second baseman is playing in the pull, and then the first baseman needs to come in a little bit more on the grass, or Edwards can get him by surprise again.
There's a look at the infield defense. 87 degrees outside, feels like 91. Slight breeze blowing out to left here today. When it is hot during the summer months in Cincinnati, the ball can really fly here at Great American Ballpark as Xavier Edwards pops one into shallow right. Will Benson's got it, and there's one away.
Well, let's look at the defense for the Cincinnati Reds. Outfield, Lux, Friedel, and Benson, center fielder and right fielder, are the same as it's been in the last 3 games. You have Marte at third, De La Cruz at short, McLean back at second, Steer over at first. Trevino getting the nod behind the plate, catching Lodolo. That's the only really change that Terry Francona makes, is the catching position.
And Lux and Hayes are interchangeable between left field and the DH spot, but you're right. A lot of mainstays out there for Tito. Here's Augustin Ramirez, who's got himself a 12-game road hitting streak going, batting .423. And Lord have mercy, is he roughing up the Reds this year. He debuted against Cincinnati back in April. All he's done since then is go 10 for 18 against the Reds with 7 doubles and a homer. He was 1 for 4 with another double in Game 3 last night.
Well, Kelly and I were trying to come up with a solution when they go to Baltimore. Baltimore's colors are black and orange, right? So you got to try to either find a red contact or some red glasses that all he sees is red. And then that way he just continues to hit because he hits so well against the Reds.
How about this for you? This might surprise you. Why doesn't he give Brian Roberts a call, the old second baseman for the Orioles? He was the first to ever experiment with the Nike red contact lenses that acted as a pair of sunglasses.
Really?
There you go. I would say that was mid-2000s that Brian Roberts utilized red contacts. If you Google it, it'll pop up. He looked like a total freak, but contact lenses acted as a pair of sunglasses.
How'd that work for him?
Had a decent career.
There used to be a contact. You used to wear it in your dominant eye.
It's popped up. And there's 2 away.
For people that were colorblind. Now, when I was young, I mean, I'm still colorblind now, but when I was young, my parents went and got one contact, and that's what it was supposed to be for, and it was red. That you put it in your dominant eye, and it's supposed to change. You know, you're supposed to be able to see colors. I'm like, I'm not doing this thing. And this is ridiculous. I'd rather see what other people don't see, or see better than I do.
You're like a dog. You're colorblind. I didn't know that. Here's Otto Lopez with nobody on and 2 out. Totally colorblind? Are you totally?
Yeah, there's certain colors that I have a hard time distinguishing between, like some reds, oranges, and pinks. But I mean, it's not bad. I mean, all right. I mean, you do look yellow, but I can live with it.
It's a good curveball from Lodolo on Lopez, who was 1 for 4 in Game 3. Otto 2 for 9 in the series with a stolen base. Eric Wagaman waiting on deck here in the first.
Now, similar to Abbott last night, he's not afraid to come inside to right-handed hitters with that 4-seam fastball.
When he faced the Marlins back in April, Jesus Sanchez and Ronnie Simon collected RBI singles, while Eric Wagaman, who's on deck, took him deep. Ronnie Simon's RBI single in the 2nd inning back on April 21st, you might remember. That was his first career Major League hit, and it followed Augustin Ramirez in that ball game. Lopez hanging tough. He's got a hit in 5 of his last 6, but he is hitting a cool 175 over his last 10. Lodolo making his 5th career start against the Marlins today. He's got a 2.82 ERA through his first 4. As the 2-2 misses up and away. First time he ever completed 6 innings in a game was against the Marlins on July 25th back in 2022.
Say, hey, what are we doing here? You know, you just can't call timeout. You either have a mound visit or the clock's going to go down. It's going to be ball 4.
You're on my time. I'm not on yours. Jeremy Rehack with the balls and strikes today. 6-year veteran Major League umpire. Here's the 3-2. It's into the seats. Jeremy Rehack, who's umpiring behind the plate today, Nelly, he was a part of the first ever all-African-American umpiring crew at Rickwood Field last year.
Was he really?
Yeah.
I bet you that was special.
Awesome. He worked the Corbin Burns, Josh Hader no-hitter in September of 2021. Behind the plate for Lodolo and Quantrill this afternoon as Lopez shoots a fastball foul.
You can see how tough that arm angle is when he comes down from the side. The last pitch at 94 miles an hour.
Curveballs and fastballs. 16 pitches deep is Lodolo here in the first. Nobody on, 2 out. And the payoff pitch is skied in the air. De La Cruz has got it. That's a 1-2-3 first for Lodolo. Friedel, McLean, and De La Cruz, to be followed by Hayes, Lux, Steer, Trevino, Benson, and Marte. Reds 47-46. Snapped a 4-game losing streak last night with a 7-2 victory over the Marlins in Game 3. Cal Quantrill is on the mound for the Marlins today. The 30-year-old Canadian right-hander is making his 18th start of the season and his 6th career appearance and 4th career start against the Reds.
Yeah, you like that. Fastball upstairs, out of the zone, got the call. And that's what you like to see when he has success. And I'm sure the Marlins are looking for him to at least go 5. It's fastball.
TJ Friedel leading things off for Cincinnati. He is 3 for 16 at the plate over his last 5 games. He's 6 for 24 against the Marlins this season with 3 doubles. Quantrill's last start against the Reds was a year ago yesterday here in Cincinnati. He lasted only 2 innings, and he surrendered 5 runs on 4 hits, including a pair of homers to Tyler Stevenson, who's not in the starting lineup today, and Will Benson, who is. He's in right field batting 8th. There's a swing and a miss. 1 up and 1 down. First strikeout of the day for Quantrill, his 63rd of the season.
Well, let's look at the Marlins defense, or let's not, because it was the same as last night there, Kyle. But we'll say it anyway. Hernandez in left, Hill in center, Myers over in right field, and the same as last night in the infield. Norby, Lopez, Edwards, and Wagaman at first. Fortes, who gets the nod behind the plate for the 2nd night in a row, catching Quantrill.
Dane Myers making his 7th start in right field, his 2nd consecutive after having not started out there since June 4th. There's Matt McLean, the right-handed hitting second baseman for Cincinnati. There's Dane. Checking out the sun. He's got the shades on. It's a bulky pair of sunglasses. Swing and a miss there by McLean, and the count is snowballs and 2 strikes quickly. That is a foul ball by a whisker. Eric Wagaman making his 56th start of the season at first base this afternoon. McLean will have to go back to the plate.
Yeah, you almost had to be careful with that ball that almost hit the corner of the bag. Got a little English and shot right.
It's a cool shot. You can see the reflection of the infield in his shades. A couple of times the Marlins have elected to go with their black alternate tops on these toasty days. Common sense has prevailed this afternoon. Nelly going with the gray.
Yeah, because their black unis kind of take in the sun instead of deflect it.
Is it still the pitcher's choice? I don't know. It used to be, right? Was the
pitcher used to be pitcher's choice of what they wanted to wear, and also the music that they played in the clubhouse. I have no idea if that's still the way it is. Come rolling in the locker room, and you instantly knew who was starting that day by their music.
Well, Nelly, I am happy to report that the music is still the starting pitcher's choice. So when Kelly walks into the locker room and knows that Cal is starting, she gets very happy because he's into the punk alternative rock type of music, and that's always playing pre-game when he's on the bump. So always a happy day in the clubhouse when Cal's on the mound.
Punk rocker, huh?
I am. I like a little bit of everything. Big Old Dominion fan. They're post-game. So country, punk rock, a little bit of everything.
Here's the 1-2 to Matt McLean, and he swings and misses for strike 3. It's a pair of punch-outs for Quantrill to start his evening here.
Good four-seam fastball inside. You watch. A nice job of Fortes setting up in, giving him that good target. He just had no shot. He just tied him up. Forget about it. Good pitch.
I am always a big fan of getting out of Dodge as quickly as possible, but I too love Old Dominion, and I am thrilled that they're playing postgame here tonight.
There was a couple of them down on the field on the Reds side there. The Marlins didn't hit today. The Reds did. They were down. I was watching them from the booth.
They're awesome. Seen them at Hard Rock in Fort Lauderdale as Ellie De La Cruz hits a fastball foul. Oh, what is this?
That's from the movie Hairspray.
Is this a part of a bit?
Well, I mean, if it was a 7 o'clock game, you might have not seen that.
So, guys, this is actually an Old Dominion fan. So they have a new album coming out in about a month, and it's entitled Barbara. And on the front cover of the album, there is a woman who's sitting at a beauty parlor, and she's got the curls in, and she's getting her hair done, and that's exactly what that fan is trying to replicate. New album coming out soon, so she's a huge fan.
You're 2 for 2 to start the day.
I really am. 2 for 2 on the music topics, too, huh?
Firing on all cylinders. Well, we got that answer. Quantrill with the 2-2 to De La Cruz. And a base hit into center field with 2 out. First hit of the day for either side. So a 2-out single up the middle for Ellie De La Cruz will bring Austin Hayes to the plate. He's hitting 182 in 12 games since coming off the injured list. 1 for 10 in the series, 1 for 4 with a run batted in last night.
De La Cruz, 67 stolen bases last year, so far 22 in 2025.
Stays put. Here's a throw back towards first. It's exactly how they coach it up, too. He went to the back corner of the bag.
Yep, the 18-inch bases. Everybody slides back into first and gets that back corner.
And the oven mitt will give you an extra inch or 2. I got to tell you, with replay in the game, if I was a base runner, I would use the double oven mitts. You get an extra 2 to 3 inches. It's all the difference in the world when it comes to a replay review sometimes. I missed inside.
Isn't there regulations, though, as far as how much that can extend past? This should be going right up against your fingertips.
I don't think they do. Because if they did, wouldn't that defeat the purpose of having them? De La Cruz takes off. A 3-1's a called strike. Throw to second, not in time. So a team leading now 23 stolen bases this season for Ellie. And the count now full on Hayes.
Well, the oven mitts are supposed to keep your fingers together and not be spread out, so you don't jam them or jam one of them on the base. That's number 23 on the year. Pretty good jump from Ellie. You can also get some cookies out of the oven in between innings.
They're multi-purpose, that's for sure.
Take the turkey out at Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Well, that's right. It doesn't have a thumb. Where's the thumb? There's no thumbs.
That is roped into left center field and down for a base hit. Throw coming in towards the plate is cut off. Throw down to second is in time. That was Cal Quantrill. He wasn't backing up the plate, but he throws out the runner at second.
and to get that out. You see less and less of pitchers backing up bases, and that's a huge part of the game. Whenever that ball gets in the outfield, and whenever you release the ball, you have a spot to be, and it's not around the mound. You're not a spectator once you release the ball. He should have been behind home plate, and fortunately that he wasn't that time. He was out of position. Now, if he was behind home plate where he should have been,
Hayes is safe.
Then Hayes is safe. You're right.
That's a base hit up the middle for Eric Wagman. Marlins have their first hit of the afternoon.
Well, he got a curveball. There you see it was supposed to be down and in. Caught a lot of the plate. Nice at bat, just out of the reach of De La Cruz.
Second hit of the series for Wagaman, and here is Connor Norby, who went deep to the opposite field in the 9th inning last night. Norby hitting .240 for the Marlins. 4 for 16 this season against Cincinnati with a double and a homer. A couple of extra base hits for Connor. Dane Myers on deck here in the second. Fastball tied him up, but it missed inside. It's 2-0.
Well, both he and Kyle Stowers are pretty happy. Going to go home and face their own team, the whole team from last year. First time that they go into Baltimore as a Marlin.
All 3 games currently for the Orioles are TBA in terms of their starting pitcher. StatCast 3D powered by Google Cloud. Here's the homer in the 9th inning last night for Connor.
Out to left, and he finally got a homer to right field, or flew out to right rather.
Speaking of the Orioles, did you see they traded their 8th inning guy this morning, Brian Baker?
Brian Baker to the Rays
for a draft pick. So there was some urgency there with the draft on Sunday.
Maybe the Orioles are probably thinking that they're not going to be in it. They're at last place in that AL East.
Well, they came from behind in game 1 of their doubleheader against the Mets today and beat them 3-1 in game 1. They're trailing 2-0 in the second inning of game 2. If we played even earlier this afternoon, we could have flown from Cincinnati to Baltimore, about an hour flight. We could have attended game 2, Nelly.
Camden Yards, beautiful ballpark.
Oh. We'll be there tomorrow. Swing and a miss. Got it with a sinker. Good at bat. Connor comes up short. There's one away, and here comes Dane Myers. First strikeout of the night for Lodolo. This is a night game, by the way. Anything that starts past 5 o'clock is considered a night game. Anything prior to is a day game. We will play the entirety of this one in the Cincinnati daylight here on a Thursday. Sun not supposed to set until a little after 9 o'clock. Big white puffy clouds overhead, a lot of blue skies, a lot of sunshine. Nice crowd on hand to take in game 4.
Going to have to wait to Baltimore to see your full moon there, Kyle. We've been talking about the moon the whole series. The illumination.
Yeah, right. Now tonight's 100%. Tonight's a full moon. Exciting times. Lodolo behind in the count, 2 balls and no strikes, facing Dane Myers, who swings and flies one foul. Now the Cincinnati Reds, with their win last night, remain the only club that has not been swept in a series this season. 7-2 winners in game 3.
Lodolo really cuts it close with that 45-degree angle going over to first base. You know, a lot of lefties, they'll try to get as much as they can down that mound to make it look like they're going home, but once they throw over, they walk it all out. That means they walk towards first base.
That one stood him up, and it's 3 balls and a strike.
He really doesn't walk to first base, so he's got to be careful, and the umpire's got to be aware that could be a balk.
And now Lodolo with a 3-1. And Myers flies it into shallow right center field. And Benson is there, and there are 2 away. Now a message from FPL.
At FPL, we plan for storm season all year.
Here is Heriberto Hernandez batting for Miami. Batting .333 to start his major league career. He was fooled by that curveball, 0-1. Hernandez 5 for 11 at the plate over his last 4 games. 3 for 8 in this series with a double and a pair of RBIs. Waiting on an 0-1, and he popped it up into shallow center. McLean's got it, and the side is retired.
Painting the logo there.
There's a Baltimore chopper out to second. Edwards handles it cleanly. 1 up and 1 down for Quantrill in the second. Our game was the year 2000, and the only other time prior to that was 1972.
Now, they were supposed to go, and it got switched, right?
Yeah, I think that was politically driven.
Yeah.
I'm not totally positive, but if you want to do a little research,
Yes.
I'll excuse myself, and you could dive into that.
No, thank you. I just know that they were going to have it.
Yes, they were. Oh, boy. That's a problem. Number 11 for Spencer Steer. It's 2-0 Cincinnati.
Now the ball flies here in Cincinnati. There you see a fastball right out over the middle of the plate, belt high. And he was all over it. Right off the facing that second deck.
So Steer now 5 for 17 this season against the Marlins as Trevino gets underneath a cutter. Hernandez has got it. 2 away. Here comes Benson, who homered last night, accounting for his lone hit against the Marlins this season. Benson is 1 for 1 lifetime against Quantrill. That one hit, a homer. Cal has a 3.96 ERA over his last 11 starts, allowing 3 runs or less in all the 11 outings. Marlins are 7-4 over that stretch, while Quantrill is 1-4. His manager Clayton McCullough was talking earlier this afternoon about Cal giving the Marlins quality work every 5th day that he's taken the ball. I suppose the irony there would be he's not turned in a quality start yet this season. He just doesn't work deep enough into games. In fact, he has not yet completed 6 innings in 2025 for Miami.
Now they look at the numbers, Kyle, in that first, second, and third time around the lineup. The third time around the lineup for Quantrill, hitters are hitting 370 off of them.
Fly ball to left. Hernandez is trying to find it, and he can't, and it goes foul.
Yeah, just foul as well. It's a ball, if he finds it in the air and doesn't lose it maybe in the sun. There you see him blocking himself from the sun.
May also want to use the sunglasses now.
Yeah.
That are situated on top of his lid.
That probably would help. It's a ball that probably should have been caught. And they stay up on top of his cap.
Sunny skies, and then the ball gets up into those big puffy white clouds. That pearly white baseball will disappear in a hurry. 3-2 is cut on and miss, and the inning is over. Another run, a Steer homer. And after 2 full innings here at Great American Ballpark, it is Reds. Nick Fortes leads off the top of the third inning for Miami, catching and batting 8th here today. Making back-to-back starts behind the plate for the first time in a while. Fortes hitting .386 over his last 21 games. And he waits on the 2-0. And he swings and he lines this sharply and foul. The balls that left his bat last night, Nelly, couldn't have broke a pane of glass, but he woke up this morning with 2 line drive base hits of the scorebook.
Yeah, the first hit was a gift. Should have been an error. And Marte, the third baseman, took his time throwing over to first. And that little cue shot down the first baseline, I think the exit velocity was about 54 miles an hour.
That's exactly what it was.
Like Trevino's fastball the other day. Had to come in, a position player for the Reds when they got beat 12-2.
3 1s in there for a strike. He didn't think so. So Reds with a run in the first and another in the second. Spencer Steer with a second inning homer. No runs and a hit for the Marlins, who couldn't cash in the Eric Wagaman leadoff single in the second. Marlins were 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position last night. They were also 2 for 16 with runners on base. De La Cruz has got that. There's one away. Tune in tomorrow for the Marlins live pregame show, brought to you by your South Florida Hyundai dealers. On the air at 6:30. First pitch at 7:05 at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. First the Orioles, game 1 of a 3-game weekend series. Kelly and Nelly will open up that 3-game date for you tomorrow night at 6:30 from Baltimore. Edward Cabrera will take the mound for Miami. As Derek Hill shoots one foul, and all of a sudden, every 5th day that Edward Cabrera is pitching, you're thinking to yourself, heck yeah, let's win a game.
A little bit different dimensions with the outfield. The Orioles brought in the left field wall now.
Back in.
Yeah.
Used to be real shallow.
And then they moved it back. Nobody could hit it out of left field.
It was a graveyard, and now it's...
And it's still, they've cut it off a little bit. They brought it in, I don't know, well, we'll see tomorrow, but...
It's playing a little bit more fair these days. There's the 0-1 to Derek Hill. Orioles have already come back in game 2 against the Mets, who had a 2-0 lead, but the Orioles got an RBI double from former Marlin. Here's the throwback, Alex Jackson, and a 2-run homer from Jordan Westburg. In the bottom of the second, they lead 3-2 in the third.
Well, the Orioles' 2 catchers are former Marlins. Jacob Stallings caught the first game, and then Jackson.
Stallings had a hit in game 1.
Yes, he did. Got released by the Rockies, hooked up by the Orioles.
It's fair to say he has played in 2 of the finest ballparks in America.
Coors,
beautiful ballpark to play in.
Yeah.
Camden Yards, amazing. Check swing. Doesn't matter. Called strike 3, 2 away.
Arm angle. It's a tough pitch to hit. You know, usually submariners or guys that are down to the side, righties will pick them up just a little bit better because of the angle. And you know, you could see the ball a little bit longer. But he's like Chris Sale, that when he comes from that angle, it just rides right in you. He gets right into you. He gets a lot of good ride on that 4-seam fastball.
They punched out Derek Hill looking, and Hill now 0 for 11, playing in his 6th game back, coming off the injured list. Marlins trying to start a new winning road streak.
Now Chris Sale has that big slider, and both of them have the same build.
Yeah.
Maybe Sale a little skinnier, but Sale's also 6'6". Lodolo's 6'6", maybe weighs a little bit more than Chris Sale. Lodolo has the curveball. Sale has the big slider.
Yeah, they say Lodolo goes about 216, 220, somewhere in there. 2-1 on Edwards, who's 0 for 1. Lodolo has retired 5 in a row after retiring the first 3 before surrendering that leadoff single in the second. Couple of strikeouts. 6'6", 216, 27-year-old southpaw kicks and fires the 2-2 that misses outside. Edwards now 1 for 7 with a double lifetime against Lodolo after his fly out to Benson and right back in the first. Got underway at 5:12 here today. And that is looped into right field, and that's going to get down for a base hit. Edwards will stop at first with a 2-out single. Second hit of the ball game for Miami.
Edwards does such a nice job with 2 strikes. You know, he knows his game. He's not a power guy. He cuts down his swing. You watch this. He just serves this thing on the outer half, right off the end of the bat. You put it in play, and you let it see what happens, and that's exactly what he did. You know, almost could have had 2 out of that one.
It's the old Texas leaguer. So here is Agustin Ramirez, who with one vicious swing could tie this thing in a hurry. Yeah, there's still one spot open in the home run derby. I've got a good candidate.
Mr. Ramirez?
Yep. I think he'd be a ball of fun to watch. He's got that torpedo vicious swing, that windmill finish, young, built like a fire hydrant. I think he'd put on a great show.
Now that's the second time Lodolo has gone over to first, so he is done with that. This next time he's got to pick off Edwards or it's a balk.
Edwards creeping off the bag. He was going back to first. He thought Lodolo was coming that way again.
Yeah, you know, once a left-hander goes over twice, you can't be fooled by his move. It's almost you go right away. You got to maybe push the issue a little bit.
Risky run is taking the bat out of the hands of Ramirez, who could tie it up in a hurry. Stays put on the 1-0. Swing and a miss on a changeup, 1-1.
Now again, Edwards was really fooled by that move. I mean, he took about 2 steps back to first base.
Just not seeing it well, is he? Tyler Smarslock trying to help him. It's a big lead. And he stays put again. And Ramirez swings and misses again.
Well, the one thing Lodolo's doing is he's varying his leg kick. You know, that time he a little bit higher with that leg kick. The last time a little bit lower.
Well, you got to imagine he'll go with 2 strikes here. And he takes off. Especially with 2 strikes. Worst thing that happens, you get thrown out. Ramirez gets a clean slate in the 4th. Let's take a look at this afternoon's Beating the Pressure, brought to you by Coors Light. Look at this. Through his first 67 career games as a Miami Marlin and any Marlin, Ramirez first in homers, second in doubles. Edwards takes off. Throw down to second base is not in time. Those are some incredible numbers, though, Nelly, when you think about it. To start your careers in the major leagues, to do so with the Marlins through 67 games, tied for first in homers, second in doubles, first in extra base hits, 4th in RBIs, 4th in slugging percentage. That is an impressive start.
Well, 34 extra base hits in his first 67 games is a franchise record.
And he waits on the 2-2. Are making Lodolo work a little bit. That was his 56th pitch. He's not yet through the 3rd.
Well, I can't imagine him giving in here. If it is, it's a fastball away. He may go breaking ball again.
3-2. And he popped him up near the pitcher's mound. Now in front of the plate is Trevino with the mask on. He makes the catch. Impressive.
Going to the Hall of Fame with the Reds Hall of Fame.
Well, next time you get here, please do. For those that have not been to the Reds Hall of Fame, but maybe you've gone to Cooperstown to the National Baseball Hall of Fame, and there's Pete's number 14 out there. I guess the only and the best way that I could equate it, as the 2-0 has popped up, is think of the National Baseball Hall of Fame, but exclusively for the Cincinnati Reds. Some of the memorabilia and some of the stuff that is displayed in the museum here across the road, remarkable.
Yeah, that's what Craig was telling me the same thing yesterday, that I had to go, and I totally forgot about it. I haven't even been to the main.
You never been to Cooperstown?
Never been to. No. I've been to Cooperstown when we played one of those the Hall of Fame game, but never went into the museum.
Back to the top of the order we go now. Here's Friedel, who struck out swinging in the bottom of the first. Well, if you're ever in Cincinnati, make sure you swing by the Reds Hall of Fame, even if they're not playing. Friedel showed bunt, pulled back, and that splitter missed low.
Well, it better be a good one, because Norby was right on his throat when he went to square around.
No runs and 2 hits for the Marlins today. 2 runs on 3 hits for the Redlegs. That is roped to first. Wagaman's got it just tall enough. 2 away. Beyond a 2 out here. Misses outside, 1-0 on Matt. 25-year-old middle infielder out of Orange, California, taking on Cal Quantrill here in the 3rd. Just chomping on that double bubble. It's that high cutter for a strike. Just gnawing away on that bubble gum. He is a little bit like Nick Martinez in that he kind of never stops moving on the mound. It's kind of rocking. What's in motion stays in motion. Is that Newton's law?
You know, there's a couple guys around the league. You know, Gillespie used to do that as well. A lot of moving parts on the mound. Martinez, Clark Schmidt for the Yankees, they all have this timing mechanism, and they keep moving their feet to help them get into that windup.
Take the chill pill. 2-2. What did you think about when you were on the mound?
With the striking out everybody I could. I didn't care how many pitches it took. I wanted to strike out everyone.
Jammed him. Norby's got it. And a quick and easy, perfect 1-2-3 bottom of the third inning for Cal. South of Cincinnati. I also believe they honed in on Bristol. It's a little over 5 hours north of Atlanta, so that'll be fun for both fan bases.
Yeah, I'm interested in watching that. And you're a big NASCAR guy. I wish we had that picture of you in the. How old were you in that little go-kart or that kart racing thing? That your racing helmet was as big as you were.
Listen, let me send the photograph to our incredible producer John Solster.
You're a big NASCAR guy. I did not know that.
I softened a little bit over the years. Ana Lopez just got banged up.
I really didn't even know you got out of the house, and then all of a sudden you're racing go-karts and cars.
Yeah, it was fun. Had a good time. I don't watch it as much as I used to, but I still follow it.
Get any accidents?
I did.
Flip it?
I did.
Did
yeah.
you? How fast did that thing go?
40, maybe? I was guessing. 0-2 is lined to right field, but Will Benson's got him played perfectly. A little eventful there at the end. And there's one away. So just 2 hits surrendered by Lodolo, who's threw 3 1/3 a shutout ball. One of the 2 hits that he's allowed was with Eric Wagman at the plate leading off the second. He singled, but the Marlins couldn't cash that in. It's going to be difficult for the hitters now. You can see the shade is covering up home plate. The pitcher still in the sunshine as that changeup was cut out and missed.
Yeah, hitters say the spin of the breaking ball is the hardest to pick up. You see the location going from sun to shade. The fastball they can pick up because of location, but not that breaking ball.
That'll be challenging. 0-2 is floated into right center field. Friedel's got it. Gotta catch 'em all. Pokemon Go Night is back at the ballpark on Friday, July 18th. A ticket package includes a game ticket to watch the Marlins take on the Royals and an exclusive Pokemon Go t-shirt that's themed to your team. Don't miss an epic adventure. Secure your spot at marlins.com/Pokemon Go. didn't know Pokemon was still going. But alive and well. So it'll be a fun night at the ballpark. Come out and join us. Kelly had that great story on Tyler Stevenson last night late in the game. He's using the Talladega Nights catcher's gear for that Speedway Classic.
Ricky Bobby.
Robbins Racing. Connor Norby 0 for 1 tonight. And he rips one foul outside of third. Marte at third has started all 4 games in this series. And there's called strike 3. And Norby can't believe it. And he's got a gripe. Joey Burrow leading the charge.
Camp open up pretty soon, right? End of July.
I think the Hall of Fame games in a couple of Sundays. Ellie De La Cruz fights off a splitter, leading off the bottom of the 4th.
Their stadium's only, what, a couple blocks down?
Yeah, the only thing that separates Great American Ballpark from Paycor Stadium is the bars and restaurants, so it's a cool little setup that they have. It's really neat. De La Cruz got jammed there. Pops it into shallow left. Lopez with an easier play. Calls off Norby, and there's one away. Tune into Golick and Golick featuring Mike Golick Sr. and Mike Golick Jr. weekdays on FanDuel Sports Network. They're bringing the heat with both. Let's talk. You know those two will be talking football. Quantrill facing Hayes, who's 1 for 1. With an RBI single in the first. The other run scored on a nobody on, 1 out solo shot by Steer in the second. So 2-0 Cincinnati in the last of 4.
You know, before that hit, Hayes hitting $182 in his last 12 games. Really struggling with the Reds since coming off the IL. Good splitter there, cut out and missed.
He came off the injured list with a foot contusion. Had a bruised foot. Lines one this time to center field, and Derek Hill has it measured. 7 in a row retired by Quantrill. He's now 1 for 2, and here comes Lux. For 1 today, now 1 for 10 of the series, and 4 for 20 this season with a homer and 3 RBIs against the Marlins. I think the Cincinnati Reds red top looks better on him than the Dodger blue. He may beg to differ, I don't know. Nice look for the young man. It's a clean presentation, don't you think?
Yeah, it is.
Nice old school jersey. A lot of tradition and history in Cincinnati with their baseball team. Lux in the air to center. Hill started back. Now he comes in. Consecutive perfect innings for Quantrill. To start a new one today, and Cal Quantrill's keeping him around.
Yeah, and you wonder how long he's going to go. Usually he's a 5-inning guy. You just mentioned hasn't completed 6 yet. I think tonight might be the perfect opportunity because his pitch count is right there. He's done an outstanding job. Made a couple mistakes. Other than that, he's kept them in the ball game. And see if the Marlin offense can get through to Lodolo.
What do you think Lodolo's doing so well to keep him off balance?
Pretty similar to what Abbott did. You know, a lot of fastballs inside. That breaking ball, he'll throw to that breaking ball. It's going to be a little bit tougher here for the next couple innings because of the shadows. So it's going to be tough picking up. He hasn't even gone to his changeup, and his changeup's a really good pitch. He's basically been fastball, curveball.
What's encouraged you so much about this recent stretch for the ball club, and obviously now leading into the All-Star break?
Yeah, that's what you want to do. You want to end on a nice note in that first half, and they're pretty much doing that. Even if they lose tonight, they split. They end that 11-game road winning streak, which is a really tough feat to do. You know, anytime you're coming from the East Coast, West Coast, and going on the road and trying and doing what they did is very impressive. But they're a resilient group, which you like. When you start winning, you have a lot of fun in that clubhouse. They're a young team, and they've gotten contributions from everyone. And it's not just been, oh, hey, we're relying on a couple players. I mean, the pitching has been really good. The bullpen's been really good. And offensively, and one thing, even last night, it felt like, even though it was a 7-2 ball game, it felt like it was a 15-0 ball game, but they kept going. They even battled a little bit at the end. And, some teams will just roll over and say, okay, hey, let's go get them the next night, but not the Marlins.
A little culture, a little identity going. Oh, diving stop up the middle and a throw to first, not in time. Hernandez with a little too much speed, but what a brilliant play up the middle by Matt McLain.
Yeah, outstanding play by McLain. And if he turns the other way, you watch this is a hard hit ball, and he hasn't played perfectly. If he turns the other way, you might have a shot, but because he turned the opposite way, it's almost makes it a little bit more difficult to get Hernandez, who does run well.
Snaps a stretch of 5 Marlins retired in order by Lodolo. So here is Fortes, who's 0 for 1. Lined out softly to Ellie De La Cruz at short in the third. Here he bunts one out in front of the plate. Here's the throw down to second base, and they got him. Boy, Fortes kind of flipped his bat out in front of the plate, and Trevino, the veteran catcher, had to navigate the lumber. He did so in fine order, and the put out will go 2-6.
Well, that's a ball. You're trying to go to the third base side, down the third base line, and you could see it was out on the outer half, and it was a changeup. So it fooled Fortes, and that probably was the reason why it just went out in front of the plate. Unfortunately, they got the lead runner, but it was a nice idea to try to go down the third baseline. If it was a fastball, you're probably first and second here.
Actually, fielder's choice putout goes 2-4, not 2-6. But the Reds do indeed get themselves an out. Now there are 2 away for Derek Hill. He was 0 for 11 in 6 games coming off the injured list. He's got a couple of homers, 5 RBIs, and 6 stolen bases this season does Hill. Now Lodolo, a couple of strikes, and an out away from working 5 shutout innings to start this contest here tonight. There's a fly ball in the air to fairly deep center field. It'll hang up in the yard for TJ Friedl. And Nick Lodolo works around the 1-out single here in the 5th. Got their sunscreen on. I checked the weather. They said you need your sunscreen until 6 o'clock today. So now that it's 6:22, I guess you no longer need to apply.
I had it on down there. Needed it. It was toasty down there in the pregame.
I bet it was.
Kelly had her on Mary Poppins umbrella.
Yeah. Quantrill facing Steer, who took him deep in the second to start the bottom of the fifth. Quickly, no balls and 2 strikes after the first pitch cutter was a called strike. And there's a swing and a miss on the splitter.
Pitch count, 55 pitches. That's outstanding.
He may actually turn in his first quality start of the season as he punches out Steer. And that is his 4th strikeout of the day. So 4 strikeouts this afternoon for Cal Quantrill, 603 in his major league career. He's become the 15th Canadian-born pitcher to achieve that feat. Now ball to third. Quickly 2 up and 2 down here in the 5th. Now a message from Doral Kia.
Doral Kia is loaded with over 500 new Kia models in stock now.
Jeff Nelson, Kelly Sacco, Kyle Seeloff with you on a Thursday night here in Cincinnati, Ohio. Marlins at the very worst will split the series, trying to win it, trailing 2-0. They'll have to come from behind once again. But they can do that. They've come from behind on 24 separate occasions this season. Actually have a fairly decent mark. They're 16-36 when their opponent scores first this year. I know that does not sound good at all, but it's actually a fairly decent mark. Splitter misses up and away to Will Benson, who's taking Quantrill deep in his career. But Quantrill punched him out in the second. Nobody on, 2 out here in the 5th. Clayton McCullough looking out. Marlins bullpen dead quiet, understandably so.
Cal's dad, also Canadian, born in London, Ontario. 725 strikeouts in his career. 14-year major league career. We played against each other. And we were teammates for at least 1 game in 2001.
And there's strike 3. That's a perfect 5th inning for Cal Quantrill.
Come on, little girl, put your hand in my hand. Come on, little honey, let me tell you what I'm feeling. I was on the floor on the bottom when I thought of you. Now we can't forget it, cause I'm starting to believe it. Yeah, I can be a soldier when you're telling me to slow you on. I can be a fighter when you're telling me to fight it. I can be a hero when you're here with me. I can be forgotten if you tell me to forget it. Yeah, I can be forgotten if you tell me to forget it. I can be forgotten if you tell me to forget it. Now we can forget it cause I'm starting to believe it. And now we can forget it cause I'm starting to believe it. We're so high we can see angels there up on the ceiling, fly through our echo. Believe it, baby. So high we can forget it. There's no time for feeling. We're here to believe. So believe it, baby. So high we can see angels there up on the ceiling, fly through our echo. Believe it, baby. Save it, 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 baby. So high we can see angels there up on the ceiling, fly through our echo. Believe it, baby. So high we can forget it. There's no time for feeling. We're here to believe. So believe it, baby. Oh, 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 oh.
clean service tunnel. It's the places that people don't see. You'll never forget that, Nelly.
We're going to go to Baltimore, and they have some really good food there.
I'll be the judge of that.
Boog's Barbecue, outstanding. Go next door to the hotel. The crab cakes are amazing.
Okay.
I grew up there.
Yes, you did.
Big seafood guy.
You and Babe Ruth, two best big leaguers to come out of Baltimore.
Yes. Al Kaline.
Well,
put him a little bit
third on the list. You, Babe, Al,
Cal.
Xavier Edwards 1 for 2 here tonight. Watches that changeup that misses outside.
Cal Ripken wasn't bad.
He was pretty good. He was all right. Chopper to short. Ellie's got it. 1 away. Let's take a look at tonight's Baptist Health matchup for you. Tonight's jingle. No, that's Quantrill, I beg your pardon. Lodolo's got 3 strikeouts through 5 1/3 shutout ball here tonight. Augustine Ramirez is 0 for 2. And he waits on the 1-0. Good curveball, 1-1. Baltimore, some of the best seafood there is. Gonna get yourself some seafood?
I will. I will definitely get the cream of crab soup next door, and the crab cakes next door are outstanding. I don't know if I'll get any steamed crabs. I haven't had steamed crabs in a while.
It's messy, right? It's a whole production.
Yeah, and it's a lot for a little bit of meat.
Yeah. No doubt. Freebie way down the left field line.
I think he might have broke his bat on that one.
They could take that bat and put it in the Reds Hall of Fame. Into the corner that goes to Reds Punishers. I mean, he's just built like a tree trunk, isn't he? Just the way he just kind of walks around. It's crazy. Heck of a player.
Could be like a middle linebacker.
Yeah. 4th and 1 at the 1. Could punch it in with a fullback dive. Make sure you stay tuned until the 7th inning for the stretch. Body.
I was going to say, he's going to get taller? Since when does that happen? How old is he? 23? 24?
Yeah, but I mean, he'll still grow. He'll, the new big league nutrition in the weight rooms and everything. He'll maybe lean out a little bit, but add some muscle, and he can already hit the ball a country mile. Quickly 2 out here in the 6th. Lodolo with his 87th offering of the evening. Marlins with no runs on 3 hits. 2 runs, 3 hits for the Reds as Lopez shoots that sinker foul. Marlins have hits today from Wagaman, Edwards, and Hernandez. It's chopped foul. Rays will wrap up the first half of the season. They're well past the first half, playing their 92nd game today, but the unofficial end of the first half is on Sunday. Fish and the Birds tomorrow at 6:30. First pitch at 7:05. Check swing on a 1-2. Didn't go on an appeal.
90 pitches for Lodolo. No action in the Reds bullpen. He's done a really nice job. And once he starts settling in that third time around the lineup, 227 average against Lodolo.
He's got the good stuff working today.
Yeah, keeping off just like Abbott last night, keeping off a lot of barrels. You don't see a lot of pitches down the middle of the plate. Mixes it up really well. Starting to mix in his changeup, especially in this at bat here to Lopez.
Some even distribution there, Nelly. 25 curveballs, 25 heaters, 16 sinkers, 24 changeups. He has a lot of homer in 6 straight starts, including 2 homers on Saturday against the Phillies. He's a lot of homer in each of his 9 starts at Great American Ballpark this season. He has yet to allow a run here today as Lopez hits one back up the middle to the backhand of McLean, who's got him played perfectly behind the bag. And a 1-2-3-6 for Lodolo. That's so
cool. And everything.
There's a base hit into right center field for Noelvi Marte. Nice play by Dane Myers in right center to hold him to a single.
That's cool right there.
Pinstripe hat, the eye black, whole 9 yards.
That is great that they do that, though.
It's
the bill
really
of the
cool.
hat's a little big.
Yeah, I need to fit it a little bit better.
Yeah. I'm surprised they didn't give you like the pinstripe uni instead of the dress.
Right, we went, but the dress goes nicely with a little banner.
Yes,
it does.
That's why I picked that graphic, guys.
Yes.
Meticulously with the details.
That's very nice. So a leadoff single here for Marte. Reds lead 2-0 here in the bottom of the 6th. Cal Quantrill trying to complete 6 innings for the first time this season.
65 pitches. He's done a nice job so far.
He's got a chance.
Giving up the run in the first and the home run in the second.
Marlins suspecting Friedel's going to bunt, and he bangs one up the middle into center field. Marte was on the move. He'll go first to third. And this has become problematic in a hurry for Quantrill in the 6th inning.
Well, it almost looked like a hit and run. There you see Edwards is playing Friedel to pull, so no shot for him. And anytime that runner is on the move, Lopez is going to get the bag. That was a cutter on the outside half, and Friedel just took it right back up the middle to allow Marte to go first to third.
Well,
the Marlins going to have to, the Marlins going to have to cut that run off.
When you're down 2, they're going to play halfway up the middle. If it's hit hard, I guess you could turn 2. Well, yeah, you're probably going to sacrifice a run. You want to cut down this run. You really don't want to be in a 3-0 hole.
Yeah, and you want to see what Friedel's going to do over there first and third situation, nobody out.
Almost hit him. McLean's 0 for 2 today.
Friedel 9 stolen bases, been caught 3 times.
With the speed at third. Well, if you're Terry Francona with a 2-0 lead, you got to be inclined to put the man at first in motion here, aren't you? Well, he doesn't go, and the pitch misses inside. Now the count is 3-1. I suppose maybe not now. Obviously, you'd go 3-2 if it gets there.
And if you're Quantrill, you really got to watch here. You don't want to give in for a fastball. I go off speed, something away, maybe cutter away.
It's been great since that first inning. Well, now the count is full, and you'd suspect that Friedel would be moving here to try to stay out of a double play. Got the old school stirrups on. Quantrill kicks and fires a 3-2 sink with it. Misses high, ball 4. Now the bases are loaded, and now a message from FPL.
At FPL, we plan for storm season all year long.
All of a sudden, this one hanging in the balance. Reds leading 2-0. Bases juiced. Bottom 6. Nobody out. Ellie De La Cruz watches a curveball outside, ball 1. A career .367 hitter with the bases loaded with 2 grand slams. Hitting .417 this season.
Well, you want to stay away and down. You hurt Sandy with a couple pitches up going the other way. Splitters down, backdoor cutters, maybe 2-seam fastballs down, just trying to get a ground ball here. That's the pitch you want to stay away from. Anything up that he can lift in the air.
Dangerous pitch here. De La Cruz 1 for 2 with a run scored today. And he swings and misses at a good splitter.
Yeah, good split finger right there. When De La Cruz thinking fastball.
Go right back to it.
Good pitch, exactly. I agree with you. I'd go right back or something down. You want to stay down, make him beat it in the ground.
Now you got to force out at the plate. Loaded, nobody out. 2-2, misses outside. And here we go. Ronnie Enriquez is loose hitting in the bullpen.
Well, I wouldn't give in here. I'd go back with that split finger. You walk him, you walk him. It's better than a grand slam.
De La Cruz rips one into right field for a base hit. Everybody will go station to station. And now the ball gets away because Cal Quantrill is not backing up the plate. What are we doing?
Yeah, that's what happened in that first inning. He was out of position. Luckily, he got Hayes at second. We say so many times that a pitcher has a place to be when he releases the ball, especially on a base hit. You watch this. This is a meatball, a fastball. Actually, it was a cutter to stand over the middle of the plate. He crushed it to right field. Quantrill's a spectator right here. You got to get behind the plate.
And look what he does.
And
he tries to catch the ball. He brings it upon himself. What are we doing?
He tried to catch the ball, and that allowed a run. You got to get behind the plate. You got to back up bases.
That's going to go down as an error charged to Dane Myers, but you can easily give that error to Quantrill.
Well, it should be. It's a really tough error for Myers, because if Quantrill's not there, Fortes catches the ball. That's 2 times that Quantrill's been out of position. It should have been behind the plate, backing up home.
And that error is really costly. Instead of the bases loaded in a 3-0 game, it's 4-0. Everybody advanced an extra 90 feet. De La Cruz ends up at second. McLean's over there at third. And the Reds are on the verge of putting this one on ice.
You see it around baseball that a lot of pitchers don't back up bases anymore, and it really costs the team a run. I understand being frustrated on making a bad pitch and giving up a hit, but you take that frustration out and you start running behind the plate.
He knows better, too, as a veteran pitcher.
Exactly. A good stop right there by Fortes. He does a great job behind there blocking balls. Like Quantrill's starting to get a little tired out there. That was a split finger, and that was up. The splitties that he's thrown in this game have all been down, and they've been really good. Once the ball starts getting elevated, that arm starts getting a little more tired.
Sloppy 6th inning unfolding here for Quantrill. Figure, too, this is his last batter regardless of what happens.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Three singles, a walk, an error. And the 3-2 is punched into left for a base hit. De La Cruz is around third. He's going to try to score. The throw coming in is off the mark. Down to second goes Hayes. 6-0. Now you got Enriquez loosening. So you've essentially already burnt that arm, but do you leave Quantrill out there now?
Well, watch De La Cruz, and you see the third base coach waving him, and De La Cruz was thinking home all the way. Got a late jump. If that throws on line, you watch De La Cruz, he got a late jump, but he's thinking home the whole way. They're going to try to put the pressure on the Marlins. A good throw. You might have had a play at the plate, but since it was up the first baseline, no shot. What an athlete.
Tough day for Cal. 6-0 Reds.
.30 ERA. 4 saves in those last 10 outings.
Gavin Lux facing Enriquez. Lux is 0 for 2 today, and he waits on the 0-1. Good sweeper, hit the outside corner. Backdoor sweeper. You can make a case that Enriquez could pitch in the All-Star game with some of his numbers this year. Twins turned him loose, and he's made them pay for it. It's Hayes out there at second. Nice block by Fortes.
Good slider right there. He's got nasty stuff. Good fastball, 96 to 97, and he's got that good sweeping slider. Watch this slider. Hitters give up on it because it starts out as a ball, and this is right out over the heart of the plate.
So now there's finally one out here in the 6th. Here is Steer, who took Quantrill deep back in the 2nd. This is his 11th home run of the season. It's actually been a little bit of a reprieve for Ronnie, who was seemingly pitching every single day. It's the first time that we've seen him in the series. He hasn't pitched since July 5th. That was last Saturday. Steer is the 7th Red to bat here in the 6th inning. They've scored 4 times. They lead 6-0. Sweeper just missed low and away, and Steer did not offer. Spencer Steer, 27-year-old first baseman out of Long Beach, California, in his 4th major league season. He finished 6th in Rookie of the Year voting in 2023. And he swings and misses there at a good sweeper. Back-to-back strikeouts for Enriquez, who's entered this game for Quantrill.
Now again, another really good slider. You see it down, and Steer just could not pick up that spin.
Here is Trevino, the catcher. He's 0 for 2. That one knocked him off the plate a little bit. 32-year-old out of Corpus Christi. 8th big league season. Traded by the Yankees to the Reds for Fernando Cruz and Alex Jackson. On December 20th, Alex Jackson has an RBI base knock with the Orioles today. And we'll see him tomorrow, old friend.
Wow, that pitch was down.
Yes,
first strike. Wow.
So
Fernando Cruz on the IL. He's got nasty stuff,
Yeah,
that guy. He doesn't throw really hard, 92, 93, but that split that he has, and he was a big factor in the Yankee bullpen, and he's on the IL with an oblique injury.
He only went around Trevino, after that breaking ball was called a strike that was well out of the zone, all he could do was turn around and laugh at Jeremy Rehak.
Yeah, now you just go back to that slider here after a pitch up and in.
It's 1-2. Let's see what he does. Got a piece of the sweeper to stay alive. 6-0 Cincinnati here in the 6th. Reds will welcome in the Colorado Rockies this weekend. Ball club led by Warren Schaefer.
Crowd's starting to fill in a little bit now, Kyle.
Oh, yeah. We'll be rocking here in a little while. At the show after the show. Swing and a miss. Enriquez comes on and punches out 3, but not before the Reds score 4 times. Alabama. And the pride of the University of Alabama at Birmingham is on to make his 32nd appearance of the season for Terry Francona. He's got a 3.96 ERA.
41 strikeouts in 36 in the third. A nice year out of that bullpen. A lot of cutters, good fastball, breaking ball.
6 shutout for Nick Lodolo. 3 hits, no walks, 4 strikeouts. Up to the bullpen the rest of the way to preserve a 6-0 lead. Eric Wagaman is 1 for 2 tonight, waiting on a 2-0. And it's 3 balls and no strikes. Ashcraft apparently not happy there with the landing zone.
Lodolo 91 pitches. 99 was his high. He has not thrown over 100. Probably one of the reasons why they took him out. Did a nice job. 6 shutout like you mentioned.
And there's ball 4. That is the last thing you want to do on relief. A 4-pitch walk to Wagaman to put the leadoff man aboard for the Marlins. And here comes Connor Norby. Marlins would take it. So the Marlins were facing back-to-back left-handed starting pitchers for the first time since June 17th through the 19th. As Norby bangs one up the middle for a base hit, so a walk and a single for the Marlins to start the 7th. When the Marlins face Ranger Suarez, Christopher Sanchez, and Jesus Luzardo in order against the Phillies. A little something brewing here for the Fish in the 7th. At the very least, you'd love a couple of runs to try to get back into it, Nelly.
Well, first pitch slider, nice job there. There you see that toe tap. Hits it right back up the middle.
So a 4-pitch walk to Eric Wagaman. Connor Norby hacking away first pitch that he sees. First and second, nobody out for Dave Myers, but it won't be Myers. It'll be Jesus Sanchez, the pinch hit. So Clayton McCullough probably going to unload some combination of Stowers, Sanchez, and Hicks here in the 7th.
Yeah, one swing at the bat gets him right back in the ball game.
Stowers is on deck. Sanchez is hitting. And a cutter's at the top of the zone for a strike. There's Stowers. Ready to hit for Hernandez. And you may very well see Hicks hit for Fortes, who's in the hole right now. One. This is outside to Jesus.
Yeah, Ashcraft can't find the strike zone right now. He's having a hard time with that.
Yeah, he's not happy with that
landing spot. You know, he's probably landing in either Lodolo or Quantrill's hole out there.
Might have to call the ground screw.
Sometimes that'll mess with you when you got a pitcher that you're landing in the same spot. Sometimes your heel will hit it. You just have to move yourself on the rubber and just so you don't land in that same spot as whoever was there before you, whether it was one of the starters or the reliever. Enriquez.
So it's 2-1 on Jesus Sanchez. He was 3 for 11 in the series with an RBI. He was 0 for 1 pinch hitting late in the ball game yesterday. And he's ready for a 2-1. And he swings and he pops it in the air to right center field. Could be trouble. Benson's coming on. He slides and he makes the catch. Will Benson robs the pinch hitting Jesus Sanchez of a base hit.
That's a real tough play right there, Kyle, because Benson's going from shade to sun. See where he's setting up, and you're running into the sun trying to pick up this ball. That's an outstanding catch right there. Great focus on the baseball. Real nice catch.
The runners have to stay put. There's one away. And now Kyle Stowers will bat. He's 2 for 8 in the series with 2 RBIs, a walk and a pair of strikeouts. Watching all the way, that cutter missed a little bit low. Stowers 5 for 26 lifetime with a homer and 6 runs batted in 10 games versus Cincinnati in his career.
You know, just looking at some of these calls and some of the umpires during this series missing a lot of the pitches, you know, being very inconsistent. Did you see that the ABS system is going to be used in the All-Star game?
I did see that. I assume they're going to follow the normal rules that you get 3 challenges. Are they going to let them just kind of? Is it 2? Okay.
2 challenges.
Okay.
Yeah, same rules. I mean, it's probably going to be a spectacle like it was in spring training, but you know, in spring training, a lot of fans didn't get to see that. Now they're going to be able to see it for the first time when a game doesn't mean anything.
Tony Sentian is quickly loosening in the Reds bullpen out there in deep left center field. Stowers with a 3-1. And that's a called strike, and he didn't think so. The count is full, and the All-Star will have to go grab his weapon of choice here and get back into the batter's box. That was the appropriate call. That cutter did have a piece of the outside part of the zone. Oh, yeah. So now the count is full. Benson robs Sanchez. That's 3-2 on Stowers. him in at second and Norby at first. Marlins trying to get back in it. And that's ball 4. And then we'll see if Terry Francona is forced to make a move. He lifted Lodolo after 6 shutout. All of a sudden, things getting a bit more interesting here in the 7th. And it will not be Nick Fortes to hit. Ashcraft is in a puddle of sweat. He's not happy with his work. And Liam Hicks will be the pinch hitter. Well, Myers, Hernandez, and Fortes all done. Sanchez, Stowers, and Hicks all batting here in the 7th.
No, this is where the Reds have really struggled. Their bullpen was 20th in baseball, a 4.11 ERA going into this series.
And strike 1. Liam Hicks hitting .269 against, or in total this season. He's got a couple of hits and 4 at bats with the bases loaded. And he bounces one up the middle. De La Cruz steps on the bag, flips it to first, and just like that, the threat is extinguished here in the top of the 7th inning.
In the beginning, right? I
think you're right.
He was barehanded the whole time.
Josh Simpson is on to pitch for the Marlins after Ronnie Enriquez cleaned up Cal Quantrill's 6th inning. Enriquez was perfect. 3 strikeouts. He's been incredible all season long. Let's do some housekeeping for you and do a little tidying. There's a look at Josh Simpson's numbers this season. He's done a pretty good job. He's making his 7th appearance as a major leaguer here today. Cal Quantrill, 5 innings, 6 runs, 5 earned, 7 hits, 1 walk and 5 strikeouts. 1 inning, 3 strikeouts for Enriquez. Here comes Simpson. He'll be facing 8-9-1 Benson, Marte, then Friedel. No runs, 4 hits, and an error committed by the Marlins. 6 runs, 7 hits for the Reds, who have busted out in a big way over these last 2 games. They had scored a total of 5 runs. We showed you this over their 4-game losing streak that they snapped last night with a 7-2 victory. Terry Francona. Here's a look at today's Toyota trend. Reds still have not been swept this season. As Benson foul tips a sweeper into the mid of Hicks. 30 consecutive series without being swept. Take a look at some of those years. Most to start a season all time.
Yeah, way back in 1989 was the last time 30.
That's crazy.
30 series. Wow, that's pretty good. Pretty good stat right there. Well, Simpson threw in Tuesday night's game, threw an inning, gave up an unearned run. So you can throw up some zeros, see what the Marlins can do with the last couple at bats.
2-2 is punched on the ground softly to first. And there's one away. Wagaman's been busy over there today. So 1 up and 1 down for Josh Simpson. Pride of Columbia. Here is Santiago Espinal, who came on defensively for Noelvi Marte. They're in the top half of this inning. Marlins loaded the bases in the 7th with 1 out. The pinch hitter Liam Hicks bounced into an inning-ending 6-3 double play. Good 1-0 sinker that time on the outside corner for a strike. Simpson's been working with some regularity. A couple of days off in between his last few appearances. Pitched on July 2nd, July 5th, July 8th, now the 10th. It's a steady diet. Decent little workload. 27-year-old left-hander. Selected by the Marlins in the 32nd round of the 2019 draft out of Columbia. As Espinal bounces one through the left side for a base hit. Here comes TJ Friedl. Espinal for his first hit in this series. Friedl singled, walked, and scored on the E9 in the 6th. His 143 times on base out of the leadoff spot this season. Ranked 2nd among all major leaguers behind Los Angeles' Shohei Ohtani. Simpson kicks and fires. 1-0 sweeper misses outside.
That first pitch is right down the middle of the plate. It was called for a ball.
Yes, indeed. There's a strike. TJ Friedl is just the 4th player in Reds history with at least 140 times on base out of the leadoff spot prior to the All-Star break. Joining Shin Soo Choo, who did it in 2013. Pete Rose did it 9 times. And Johnny Temple did it in 57 and 59. Count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Next pitch from Simpson will be his 14th of the 7th inning. Marlins will be hopping on a plane to Baltimore. Quick trip east after the game. There's a swing and a miss. Got him with a sweeper, and there's 2 away. flat I saw.
A good pitch from Simpson there.
Yes, it was. Let's see it again.
Behind 2-0. Couple fastballs and good slider away.
Curveball drops in for a strike on McLean. 0 for 2. He walked and scored in the 6th. McLean homered on Tuesday night against Uri. We will see one final time before the All-Star break, and he'll get us into the break on Sunday. Simpson with a 1-1 that missed. Marlins completing the opening leg of this final road trip of the first half this afternoon. 7-game, 7-day journey, half over. Marlins are 24-24 following a loss this season. It's tied for third most of the National League in terms of those 24 wins, but on the verge of falling to 24-25 in that department today. And there's ball 4 to McLean. And here comes Ellie. Cal Quantrill has turned things over to a bullpen, Nelly, that has been pretty darn good. First 3 games of this series, they've allowed 2 runs, 1 earned through 10 innings of work. That was coming into this one today. I mean, the bullpen, in large part, over the last month or so, has been incredible.
Yeah, what about a 2.5? I think I saw.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been outstanding, giving them multiple innings. You know, everyone down there has done a fantastic job.
De La Cruz grounds one foul. Enriquez with 3 strikeouts in the 7th, extending his franchise record, to 29 consecutive appearances with at least 1 strikeout. That's incredible.
He's got great stuff. Really good stuff.
Last reliever to achieve a streak that long was Tampa Bay's Edwin Uceta, who went on to complete a 32-game streak, an appearance streak, in which he punched out at least 1 batter. That was a stretch that started in 2022 and ended in 2024. Well, there's a punch out for Simpson to end the 7th. We'll go to the 8th, 6-0. 45th appearance of the season. And his first offering to Derek Hill misses outside. We saw the other night, actually saw last night, that 2 nights ago, Derek Hill has had his RBI taken away from him on that chopper to third when the Reds started to throw the ball around the yard. They had initially given Hill an RBI, but they've taken that away from him.
Yeah, it was with Wagaman and the overthrow from Marte.
That's right. He went around. It's 2-1. It's come to a screeching halt, hasn't it, down there?
It has hit a little
bump in the road.
Big bump in the road.
But there are worse places to be, I promise you that. Good crowd here at the ballpark. Santillan comes home with a 2-1. That fastball missed outside at 96. Santillan with now 45 appearances this season. That leads the Reds, tied with 5 others, for the 4th most among all major league pitchers. And Derek Hill will take a walk.
Well, nothing frustrates a manager more when you have a 6-0 lead and you walk the leadoff guy.
It's back-to-back innings now, too, after Lodolo went 6 shutout. And he allowed the leadoff man to get on base once. You're asking for just a little bit of trouble, aren't you?
Well, you're playing with fire every single inning. It's just a matter of getting that big hit. You're the Marlins.
Xavier Edwards has a hit here today. It's 1 for 3. And now 7 for 19 against Cincinnati this season. Or I should say in this series. For 28 this season against the Reds. Edwards sitting .328 with 7 RBIs over his last 15 games, with hits in 13 of those contests. So now he's hitting 14 of his last 16. And the 1-1 is coming his way, and he chops it foul. So a little something in it for Agustin Ramirez, who's on deck. He's got a 12-game road hitting streak intact. He's 0 for 3 today. Now 5 for 15 in the series with 4 doubles and a homer. Yeah, nice crowd. Good crowd. As the sun starts the set behind the ballpark, too, it cools off a little bit. Beautiful night. Still disappoints me that Major League Baseball does not allow the Reds to kick off the season anymore, Nelly.
Yes, they always had opening day, and it always started on a Sunday. And then the regular season would kick off on a Monday.
Ground ball fair to first, steps on the bag, throws it down to second, and a double play. It's another double play turn by the Reds.
Well, just easy play for Steer. He steps on the bag, and if you're Hill, the only thing you can do there is you just don't continue to run. You try to get in a rundown. You know that ball was hit the first. And you just have to assume, since it was so close to the bag, that the throw was going to probably beat you to second.
So here is Augustine, who's twice popped out and once struck out today.
It's the second inning in a row that the Marlins have been bailing out the Reds. Double play in the 7th. Got Ashcraft out of his jam. A leadoff walk, double play. Getting Santillan out of his jam. Yeah, I always loved when the Reds had the opening game to kick off the season.
Yeah, it was very nice.
It was a tradition for a long time. The season used to start in the beginning of April.
That's a 1-2-3, top of the 8th inning for Tony Santiago. Now Quantrill went 5, 6 runs, 5 earned, 7 hits. Enriquez with a clean inning. Simpson with a shutout 7th, and Calvin Fauché is going to get a little action here in the 8th. Marlins will be licking their wounds headed to Baltimore after splitting this series, and all of a sudden facing a red-hot Orioles team that's on the verge of sweeping their doubleheader today from the Mets. They have a 7-3 lead in the bottom of the 8th inning in Game 2. Austin Hayes will lead off the bottom of the 8th, 2 for 3 at the plate today.
Well, the Orioles are a very good young offensive team. A lot of really good young players. Their starting staff is what has given them some problems. Bullpen's pretty decent.
We'll see how decent that bullpen is in the coming weeks, depending on what the Mike Elias decide to do at the deadline. All indications are pointing towards the Orioles being sellers. Well, you know, I guess they could really rattle off some wins and get themselves firmly back in the wild card mix. And there's ball 4 to Hayes. Calvin Fauché pitching for the first time in this series and the first time in 5 days. He allowed a couple of hits and also had a pair of strikeouts last Saturday at home against the Brewers. Here's Connor Joe batting for the first time.
Now the Orioles 6.5 out of the wild card. 9 under 500. It could be 8 if they win this second game. There's still a couple weeks left till the deadline. They're trying to prove their organization to not make any moves. They're 12 games out of the East, so their only hope is a wild card slot.
And the Orioles
difference
brass.
A year makes. Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing. Look at the American League East standings. Orioles 12 out. Red Sox, Rays, Yankees, all knocking on the door after the Blue Jays have just blown by everybody. They're on a total tear right now. I was going to say the question for the Orioles brass, when you take a look at those American League wildcard standings, and every organization has to ask themselves the following: this time of year when you're lingering is, are you contending or are you pretending?
And with everybody needing the same thing, and that's starting pitching, the Orioles really have to look at themselves in the mirror. I can't see them adding. It's just almost an uphill battle for them to try to climb back in it.
Here's the 1-2 coming from Fauché to Joe, and he chops it softly to short. Lopez will shuffle to second. Edwards dropped the ball, but Hayes overran the bag, and he got tagged out. That's been a weird thing in recent years. These guys are running through the bag, and that time it cost them.
Well, you're not going to get Joe at first. You're not going to double him up. You try a real quick transfer there by Edwards, and yeah, I just don't understand that play at all. You got to slide into the bag and you're safe. And you're right, Kyle. There's a lot of times that these runners will go through the bag.
So much so they had to put a rule in place this year that there has to be some type of intent and effort to actually go from second to third. If you just run through the bag, they're going to call you out regardless. Right. It's kind of a weird deal. So Joe reaches ultimately on a fielder's choice. No error on the play. And here is Steer, who's 1 for 3. You've seen guys run through the bag. It's primarily with 2 out, with nothing to lose. You could have a runner at third. You could be at first. You could try to run through the bag at second to create a tag play, which would allow the runner to score from home.
I don't like it regardless. You got to slide into the bag. I don't like running through the bag.
I mean, the concept of it is pretty nifty, but teams are starting to catch on to it a little bit now, and obviously the league did too, saying, hey, you better have some real intent to go from first to third on a ground ball or else you're going to get called out.
Well, a lot of it is trying to obstruct a little bit of the double play. You can't take, unless you're supposed to slide directly into the bag to try to take out the infielder. You don't see that anymore either. So a lot of it is just running straight through the bag and disrupting the infielder from turning 2, but I still don't like it. I'd rather see infielders slide or runners rather slide into the base.
I agree. John holds it 2-2.
The Mets had that situation.
Yeah, Ronnie Mauricio with the Yankees.
Yeah,
that was all over MLB Network.
It was a throw up, and all of a sudden he thought it went in the outfield, turned the base instead of sliding.
Had no idea where the ball was.
Didn't know where the ball was, got tagged out. Would have been safe.
This is fisted into shallow center by Steer, and Hill is there. Suit up for a heroic day and celebrate X-Men 97 Day at the Ballpark on Sunday, July 20th. A ticket package includes an exclusive Marlins Wolverine jersey and a ticket to watch the Marlins take on the Royals. Learn more at marlins.com/X-Men. 2 away here in the bottom of the 8th. Here is Trevino. Fauché trying to work around the leadoff walk. 15 pitches deep into his outing. And it's quickly 0-2. The LE basketball jersey they're giving away behind the plate there. I've seen the guys out there in batting practice, the Reds. Anyway.
Is that what they're wearing?
Yeah, wearing LE's giveaway. One-two, up the middle, almost clobbered Fauché. Joe will stop at second. Came off the bat pretty hot.
That had to be inches from Faucher's back. This is a cutter. Let's see how close this thing comes. Wow.
Almost removed him from the postgame concert. Wouldn't have been watching it.
It's right off of his right shoulder, and close to that right shoulder.
So here is Benson. And he hits one softly to second. It's a scoreless 8th inning for Calvin Faucher. We'll go to the 9th. Marlins down 6-0.
Yeah, right on the Kentucky side.
So first responder vehicles. Looks like they had the inflatable boat heading out into the water. I don't know.
Somebody might have jumped.
Well, we can only hope not. We wouldn't want that. Scott Barlow is on to pitch for Cincinnati, facing Otto Lopez and then Eric Wagman and Connor Norby here in the 9th. So we're headed towards a series split here in the Queen City. And then we'll be off to Nellie's Emerald City. The arrival getting a little bit later than expected. Take some late night crab cakes out of the equation. It's always tomorrow. Otto Lopez is 0 for 3 today. He went around.
A lot of sliders and off speed from Barlow. He pitched a couple nights ago. Clean inning. The slider, curveball, fastball, low 90s.
Otto is popped out, lined out, and grounded out. 2-2 coming his way. He laid off a sweeper. Well, wouldn't this be something? Lodolo goes 6 shutout, and all 3 relievers come on and walk the leadoff guy to start their innings. It'll make you pull your hair out.
Luckily, Terry Francona doesn't have any hair.
And the impossible has happened. A leadoff walk in back-to-back innings make it back-to-back-to-back innings from 3 separate relievers. Oh, that would drive you nuts, wouldn't it?
You got a 6-0 lead, and all you have to do is throw strikes.
That would drive you to drink. Eric Wagman started the 7th with a walk, and Norby followed with a single. They've gotten double plays in the last 2 innings. The Reds defense has. Marlins being shut out on 4 hits here today. And Wagaman pops one in the air. Reds hoping it'll stay in play, but it goes foul. Mets have lost that doubleheader in Baltimore. They were swept. So the Orioles will be riding a very modest 2-game winning streak going into tomorrow night's festivities.
Tough to do to sweep a doubleheader.
Yes, it is. And there's called strike 3 on Wagaman for the first out here in the 9th. Connor Norby with Jesus Sanchez on deck.
Jeremy Rehack reminds me with the delayed strike call. Remember Tim McCullen?
Yeah.
Oh. If you couldn't hear him, because he does call the strike
before you see
it. Right. And then about 10 minutes later, he decides to ring you up. I mean, he was a good umpire, but wow. I mean, if you're doing a game, you got to hang and see if he actually called it a strike.
Swing and a miss by Connor. $28,950 in the building for Game 4. He went around, and now there are 2 away. Back-to-back strikeouts after the leadoff walk. Cal Quantrill fixing to lose his 8th game of the season. Nick Lodolo on the verge of winning his 6th. And here comes Terry Francona.
I haven't seen him mentioned to the bullpen yet, but here comes the reliever. He's going to the lefty.
To face the lefty. Tito not taking any chances. We'll take a break and be right back. wants Sanchez to face a lefty. I don't know if it surprises me, but I feel like it does a little bit, Nelly.
Yeah, I would agree with you. You know, your ninth inning, 6-0 lead, or you're down 6-0.
Wow.
You have a chance for a hitter to hit out of the ballpark in Sanchez, and
you never know, but at least he gives you a shot to break up the shutout. Sanoja ahead of the count. Yeah, now it's 2-1. That's amazing.
Lamal's only making his 7th appearance. He's got a 6.35 ERA. 5 2/3, 4 earned runs given up, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts in those 5 2/3.
Earned his first win of the season last Friday. Worked an inning and a third of scoreless ball in Philadelphia, making his 197th career appearance. 2-2 is the count on Javier Sanoja. And Sanoja will hang around to see another pitch. Started this ball game at 5:12. The entirety of the playing surface is in the shade. 28,000 in attendance, ready for a post-game concert. But first, one more striking out to get. 2-2. This is low ball 3 with Kyle Stowers on deck. And now Maul sent to come home with the 3-2. This is in the air to shallow left. Joe with a long way to go, but he's there. Ball game is over. Marlins won the first 2 in the series. The Reds win the final 2. It's like kissing your sister. They split this 4-game tilt. Your final thoughts here today, Nick?
Yeah, it's a disappointing series, especially the last couple games. I understand yesterday Sandy just didn't have it, but today Quantrill looked really good through 5 innings, only giving up a couple runs. And then it got ugly there in the 6th inning where the Reds put 4 across, and that pretty much ended the game there. And it's unfortunate, you know, you do split the series. You got to be happy about that going into Baltimore, but the way the game ended wasn't pretty.
All right, Nelly. I'll see you tomorrow night, my friend, from Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Cincinnati beats the Marlins 6-0 this afternoon. Our next broadcast will come your way tomorrow night from